Okay, there's 5 carriers in the queue for a split second there, so I'm probably about to get ultra griefed by a fucking Midway or a Hakuryu or a fucking carrier of any description, really. Or not. Okay. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised by that. We got shit game mode, but that's alright, because it's not airship escort, so there you go. Let's see here. I have this guy blacklisted, so that's always a great sign. Looking at threats to my ship. There's the Moskva with radar, Venezia with SAP. Nobody cares about secondary cruisers. Gearing, Marceau, and Groningen for destroyers, and a Salmon for submarines. Not too bad, all things considered. The Moskva is going to be annoying. The Venezia is going to be annoying. And those destroyers are also going to be a bit on the problematic side. Because Gearing and Groningen both outspot me. And so does the Marceau, although by significantly less. Although he might not, because it looks like he might be running not a full concealment build. Because if this mod's correct, which isn't always correct, but that Marceau might be running a non-concealment build, or at least not a full concealment build. So I will fairly confidently beat the Gearing and the Groningen in a gunfight if I have to, assuming smoke doesn't get involved. But in a straight up gunfight, I should be fine. I'll definitely take damage, but I should at very least beat them. And I also don't think this mod is being extremely accurate right now, because it says the Gearing is a 6.2 and the Groningen is a 7.1. Although the Groningen I can kind of see not running full conceal. It is a farming destroyer after all, but Gearing typically will be at 5.8. I'm also being extremely aggressive right now, being bow in like this. Let's see, there's a health regen buff over there, which would be really nice, but I'm not going to be able to help get it. I am being RPF'd right now, so I'm going to guess that it's more likely to be the Gearing. Or no, it's straight up the Marceau. Accelerate to try and dodge this guy's blind fire. And the thing you have to remember about Marceau is that it does have those 9-kilometer torpedoes, so I'm going to have to just back in here, grab this buff, and then haul ass. Because those torpedoes are definitely on the way. Just going to grab that. Go. And I'm gonna get into a position to be torpedo safe and maybe try and farm the Schroeder if he gets spotted. Although our Yoshino's just gonna sit there on the rock, which isn't ideal. And we did ultimately get that buff right there, which is always nice. Although it might cost our Summers, depending on what happens with that submarine. Let's see here. I'm gonna put... Okay, that is a very, very aggressive Schroeder. Holy shit. I'm gonna put torps out like there. There's... That Marceau is rotating somewhere else, because his RPF is dropping off of me. And yet, it's now on the black. That Marceau is going to be really annoying to deal with. I have to try and support my friendly destroyer right here. Because getting this Marceau down is going to help us a lot in the future. If we can get this guy dead, ideally. But, we love French saturation, by the way. I also am not sure why that black didn't smoke up. And wow, I can't fucking aim. Jesus Christ, I'm bad. Hello. These Marceaus, man. They're so fucking annoying to hit. Especially at that kind of range when they're completely bow out like that. But whatever. He is, as of right now, he is extremely low. And he's basically combat ineffective for the time being. And the Marceau, the thing to remember about the French destroyers is that they do not get a heal. So every bit of damage that you do to them will stick. So until they get a health regeneration buff, that damage is going to stick, and he is going to remain low for the remainder of this game. Let's see here. We're gonna pick up a buff right here. That right there is Venezia smoke. I'm just gonna smoke up right here. And I'm gonna get ready to farm this Illinois. And yeah, he's already kiting out. He did DCP one fire, which is something I'm never going to complain about. And right now, I'm just really trying to conserve my health as best as I can, because we do have this regeneration buff. Even though it's only one tick, it is slowly ticking away and giving me health back over time, which is going to be very, very helpful in the long run. As the number one thing that I'll always tell destroyer players who are looking to improve, the number one thing that you have to keep in mind is that your health, your HP, is your most valuable resource, and as such, it should be protected at all costs. So you don't want to take risks. I mean, honestly, you just don't want to take risks unless you absolutely have no other choice. Like that risk I took at the very start, I didn't need to take that, although I did ultimately take it. I was gambling on it not being the Marceau contesting me. But if it was the gearing or the Groningen, I would have reacted differently. The fact that it was the Marceau and that it has the gun power that it has is what ultimately influenced me to kite away there, because Gdansk is really good. It has really good firepower. It literally has Kleber guns with a 2.4 set. Well, it's closer to like a 3-ish second reload. This is, you have to factor in the arms race buffs right there. But basically, is my AFK? Basically, you want to avoid gunfighting Marceaus, because like I was talking about earlier, your HP is your most valuable resource, so you want to protect it. And in ships with, like the Gdansk, that don't have heals, arms race is both a double-edged sword, depending on what buffs spawn and which team gets them. Because if the enemy has an HP regeneration buff, which they don't currently, but hypothetically if they did, what I'm saying right now about letting this buff tick and letting my HP restore will apply to that Marceau. So if he stays alive for long enough, he too would be healing up. Instead, he went and committed die via Awami, which I'm not going to complain about. I'm just gonna try and get another fire going on this Izumo. Trying to aim for other sections of the ship to get multiple fires going on him. Because Izumos are actually really annoying to farm because they have so little superstructure. It's really easy to hit the turrets like I'm doing right now. There's not a lot of farmable superstructure there. But I also I'm not going to pick up that buff because I don't want the game to end. Although, honestly, it's not really going to matter. This game's about to end anyway, so. Another thing to note about Arms Race is these caps when it appears, whichever team gets it is going to be ticking up points very, very quickly. If you look right here, it's plus 10 every 2 seconds, which is very, very fast. And you're about to see right here when we do get the cap, or actually, who inted out of it? Or I guess the Yamato got reset, or maybe it was the Iwami. Who knows? But when we do get it capped, it's going to be a very, very quick game. And since all of these ships are so far away, I'm not going to be able to farm them. I'm just going to get this assisted base cap. I'm going to cap this point and end the game. Just so we're not going to be sitting here for 10 minutes. Or never mind, someone else is going to pick up a buff and do the exact same thing. So, yeah. Did we even get that base? Yeah, we did. Okay. Whatever. That was not great, but it was a decent little lesson there. The number one thing that I'll always tell Destroyer players is your HP is insanely valuable, and it should be your number one priority to protect. And it's going to be a very fine line between being over-aggressive and being overly cautious. It's a constant back and forth, and it's a very fine line you're going to be treading all of the time. But basically, what it boils down to is always give yourself an escape route, know what ships threaten you and how, and plan for those threats. So, like you saw earlier with the Marceau torpedoes into the smoke, and I explained earlier about kiting away from the Marceau because I don't want to gunfight it because of the insane DPM that it has. Venezia sap. So that, I think, is going to be enough for today. This is a fairly low XP game. There's not a whole lot that happened. I got to farm a battleship a couple of times, and I fought and fucking inted against the Marceau, but that's really it. But I still think this was a decent little example of protecting your HP. So, well, I say that as I got chunked by said Marceau a couple of times, but whatever. We're just going to ignore that. So, on that note, that is going to be enough for today, and I will see you tomorrow.